Hey, are you just getting started in product management, or would you like to learn how someone from Microsoft learned the ropes? This is Chris Rader from Centercode, and today I'm joined by Jalen McGee. From delivering speeches at a local high school about how to be an impactful student leader, to interning at Bandwidth and Microsoft, Jalen is now the PM for Azure Arc. In this episode, Jalen reflects on his early days as an intern at Bandwidth and Microsoft.
So one of the first things that I had to do as a product management intern was to test out the product, try it out, look at our documentation, look at how folks are talking about it in the news and in Reddit forums, things like that, and really get a well-rounded understanding of how folks think about our product and how our product is intended to be used by customers.
Skills that help you as a product manager.
But now the advice that I would give myself coming in would be to prioritize learning over knowing and prioritize making sure you can ramp up quickly on things, because there's always going to be new things that you encounter, new technologies, new concepts, new ways that customers are using your product.
And the roles that customers play in product development.
The misconception is that the preview is just about finding bugs, because it's not. It's not just about identifying the deficiencies in something that we've already put out. The preview is actually about getting real feedback to make sure we're making something that works and that fits the needs and addresses what our users want.
Hey, let's get into it. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. Today I'm joined by Jalen McGee. I met him at the North Carolina Roadshow. He met at a product management networking event. It was a great time talking with him, and I thought he'd be a great guest to bring on to the podcast. So today I'm joined by Jalen. Nice to meet you, Jalen.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, definitely. So the first question I wanted to start off with was I looked at your LinkedIn profile. I saw that you've been an intern at a few places and that you've managed to get your way to product management. So I'd love to hear how internships really shaped your approach to product management. Like, what did you learn from those internships that you brought into product?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the main thing that I say, as an intern, especially as a product management intern, you're kind of introduced to a team and a product that you don't have a lot of interaction with every day, unless you're working on a very popular product or one that you use as a college student, for instance. But in my case, I was introduced to a product that I had never heard of before, that I had never worked on before, and that I had never used before. So one of the first things that I had to do as a product management intern was to test out the product, try it out, look at our documentation, look at how folks are talking about it in the news and in Reddit forums, things like that, and really get a well-rounded understanding of how folks think about our product and how our product is intended to be used by customers. And that's something that I really take and has shaped how I continue to do product management, going in with that beginner mindset and going in with the understanding of having no preconceived notions, especially as I talk to customers even today about how they're using our product, not going in and kind of predetermining how I think a customer should be using our product in a certain way, kind of going in with that beginner mindset, kind of clearing my mind and understanding that this customer could be using our product in a way that I never thought before, and really got it going in with an open mind. So that's how my internships have really shaped how I've continued to do product management today.
Yeah, I love that outside in perspective of
Mhm.
you go out to where are the customers at? What are
Mhm.
they saying
Right,
about it? How are they using it? And just trying to learn from that perspective. It's
exactly.
definitely enlightening. I had a buddy who worked at a company. We actually had him on the podcast. His name is Paul Chen.
Mhm.
He worked at Microsoft at some point. He was one of the product managers for the Surface.
Mhm.
And he always told me this story about when he first came on as a product manager. His first task when he got onboarded was to field 100 something customer support calls.
Mhm.
So he had to sit there on the phone and just listen to everybody's complaints, everyone's problems, what was
Yes.
working, what was not working. And I always thought that was insightful.
Yeah, very insightful. That's phenomenal exercise to start with when you join.
Yeah, definitely. So now that you've gotten to, you're in product, you've grown now. What would reflecting back on that? What would you have given yourself as advice when you first started at a big tech company? So day one, Jalen's talking to Jalen. Here's advice for
Yeah.
going forward.
Yeah. My primary advice when I was coming in as a fresh PM, one of the things I was really focused on is like uh, knowing as much as I can and kind of showing off how much I know and making sure that I'm established, making sure everyone knows that I know a lot and that I'm well versed in technology and in product and things like that. But now the advice that I would give myself coming in would be to prioritize learning over knowing and prioritize making sure you can ramp up quickly on things because there's always going to be new things that you encounter, new technologies, new concepts, new ways that customers are using your product. So I would advise myself to prioritize how I'm learning about our product, about our industry, and making sure that I always have a kind of mindset that's a growth mindset, which is something we talk about all the time at Microsoft. Uh, Not so much being focused on gaining my understanding of every single thing and kind of proving to everyone that I know everything, but really making sure that I know how to learn in a good way, and making sure that I don't just focus on all the information that I know, but making sure I'm focusing on how I attain knowledge and how I'm showing our customers that I'm able to kind of learn from the scenarios that they are introducing to us, because I encountered that a lot where customers are using our products in ways that I didn't expect. So that's the main piece of advice that I give myself. Really prioritize the learning over kind of proving that you know so many things.
I Wow, it's so I had not heard that, but I definitely felt that same thing
Mhm.
in my like early career. I just wanted to show off that I was
Yeah.
smart enough, that I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to be in the
Exactly.
conversation. And
Exactly.
now I've gotten a little bit further along, and that learning is like aptitude to learn is
Hmm.
very important, right? Like
Exactly.
showing your peers that you don't know everything, but you would
Exactly.
like to you'd like to learn and figure out how to do that. That's
That's a really insightful thing that I think you point out. Early on, I would when I would folks would ask questions, I would be worried about, do I know the answer to this? No, I have to know the answer to all the questions that I've been asked. But now, as I've grown in my career, I'm much more comfortable with saying, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll find out. I'll find it out. So now when folks come to me with questions, I'm not so worried about if I know an answer or not. If I know the answer, great, but I'm much more comfortable now saying to my peers, I'm not quite sure, but I'll figure it out. And that second piece is really your strength when you're able to say, but I'll figure it out. And knowing how to go and get that information so that you can, so that you don't have to show off everything you know in the moment. You're really, you should be able to show off how well you can attain information from your peers and from, various places.
yeah, very good. An interesting thing that you said was technology and everything is moving so fast. So
Mhm.
you're not going to be the
Right.
foremost expert in everything, and
Exactly.
it's always going to be something new. Someone is
Exactly.
always going to have more information than you.
Mhm.
So great stuff. And I'll take that into this next question that we have. What skills, like I feel like learning, you're saying
Mhm.
learning, what
Mhm.
skills are essential for when you're looking to get started in a PM? So
Mhm.
we'll chalk off learning as a good one to get through there.
Yes.
What other skills?
Yeah. Skills. So the number one skill that I've continued to work on myself, even today, like it is adaptability. I'd say being able to adapt to different situations, different contexts is really huge. Being able to the context switch is something that I run into every single day at work. I could have one meeting about one topic, one feature, one product, and then go into the next meeting right after is on something completely different, and I have to context switch, and that can be really, really challenging. And one of the things, one of the skills that I think that really helps with that is being able to be adaptive. So that could look like being really organized with your notes. That could look like, scheduling a little space between meetings when you can to kind of give yourself some time to context switch if you need to do it that way. But really finding out the best way to adapt to the different contexts that you'll be in as a PM. Because as you grow and your scope grows, that's one of the things that PMs encounter. You have much more areas that you own, and there's much more different contexts that you'll be in. So being able to adapt to different scenarios and to different contexts, I think is the number one skill that I would point out as being really important for PMs.
Well, yes, I agree. Before stepping into the marketing role, I was in product management, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt that's where I struggled probably the most. We only have
Yeah.
one product, so we had one
Mm-hmm.
platform
Mm-hmm.
that we're working on at Centercode, and I would find myself having a context switch between talking to, say, engineering and
Mm-hmm.
marketing and sales, and those,
Mm-hmm.
while it's all the same product, the audience of who I was interacting with, because I was relying on each of these teams to get some work done,
Mm-hmm.
it was rough. And like my
Yeah.
meeting went from one to one. It's like, oh, I have to turn off the way I'm talking to engineers in order to talk
Exactly.
to this sales team or this go to market team or anybody like that. So
Exactly.
agreed.
Yeah, that's a really. I think you pointed out a really important piece, not just like being adaptable from like talking about one area in one meeting to another area in another meeting, but actually the people you're actually talking to. You have as a PM, you have knowledge of the product, but as you mentioned, like marketing knows your product as one thing. Your engineering team knows your product as another thing. The UX team knows your product in a whole different way. So I think it's a really crucial thing that you pointed out, where it's not just like the context of the meeting; it's actually the people who you're chatting with throughout the day can vary widely. So that's another like really important context thing that you need to be able to be adaptive to make sure you're good at.
Yeah, especially if you have to throw in customers into the mix. Like if you had to interact with
Exactly.
customers.
Exactly. Like you're talking to internal folks 1 second, and then you turn around and you're talking to customers, and you have to make sure you keep all your ducks in a row when you're talking
Yeah.
internal versus external. Absolutely.
Don't say these things. You have to refer
Mhm.
to it this turn off. It's funny, you get like engineering, and it's like you can turn on the jargon hat a lot because
Mhm.
most of the time, like that's how they communicate. Like a lot of engineering is communicated through technical jargon. Whereas
Right.
if you were to talk to anybody in marketing, it's like they have, I don't even want to call it jargon. It's like marketing slang. Like
Yeah.
they have their own version of it. But customers, it's like I don't know exactly what they don't know or what.
Exactly. Exactly.
So this goes in lines with that. It's a little bit about knowing your audience.
Hmm.
You're still pretty fresh into product management.
Hmm.
What what do you think that a seasoned or like a veteran or senior product manager, how could they benefit from interacting with and learning from
Hmm.
early product managers?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great one. So I think what immediately comes to mind for me is energy, energy and time. Early in career PMs most likely have more time than seasoned PMs. And I would say seasoned PMs can kind of leverage that time and energy where the early in career PMs can chat with multiple customers and learn from them and take in all the latest information about how our customers are feeling about our product, how our customers are feeling about the space. Early in career PMs can kind of leverage that energy to go and do loads of research and kind of understand how the market is feeling about our product, how our product is presented as compared to our competitors. I'd say that's one of the primary ways that these seasoned PMs can really leverage the early in career PMs is by kind of recommending, hey, go talk to as many customers as you can. Kind of take some notes. Let us know how our customers are thinking about our products right now. Let us know what you see in the competitive landscape, how our product is comparing to others. Because a lot of times seasoned PMs are kind of focused on the high level strategy. They're focused on what is our future going to be? How are we strategizing our product right now? What do our how are our stakeholders looking at us? And who do we need to interact with? What do we need to be introducing next? So seasoned PMs may not always have the bandwidth to go out and have 5 customer calls on a day, or go out and look at look at the new things our competitors are introducing. But earlier in career PMs, they have that time, they have that energy, and if they're led in the direction of, hey, go out and learn as much as you can and present it to us, they can really be valuable to help out the team in that way. So that's how I'd say seasoned PMs can benefit from fresh ones.
Hmm. Interesting. Definitely. That sounds. I mean, they will have more energy and eagerness too, right? Like,
Exactly.
and I want
Exactly.
to I want to help. I want to be part. I want to get the benefit.
Exactly. And
So,
I think also there's like in trying out the product as well. I think when a new PM comes in, like we've been talking about, one of the best ways to get started is just by trying out the product itself. And a seasoned PM can give a new PM like certain tasks to do with the product and say, how would you accomplish this with our product? Like, what steps would you take? They can even leverage them as like a potential new user that's new to the product and new to the platform. So there's a multitude of ways that early in career PM can be leveraged, and I think those are a really good few.
yeah, one that came to mind just as you were kind of talking about like
Hmm.
the leverage as a new user
Hmm.
was as we work with products, as we become more senior, we start to I'll say this in a weird way. We obtain baggage. We have a history. We know too much sometimes for our own
Hmm.
good. And
Hmm.
sometimes it gets like kind of etched in stone or it gets really dusty. And we just keep it there. It's like, yeah, that's the way it is.
Hmm.
That's the way it works. And I feel like
Exactly.
sometimes you can get those newer PMs to
Hmm.
challenge that, right?
Exactly.
Like, is that actually how it still is? We said
Hmm.
that 15, 10 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 6 months ago. is that is that still real?
Yeah, absolutely. That's like that. That's the curse of knowledge that can come. You have you're seasoned. You have so much background context. And if a new PM comes in and questions, why can't I just do it that way? And you say, uh, if only you knew why you can't do it that way. And it's like you have so much background context. So yeah, I definitely agree with what you're mentioning there. That can really be kind of a better way to leverage those early in career folks. So yeah, totally agree.
Gives you a good perspective. Being on now, I'm more product on the marketing side, so I get pulled
Hmm.
into to different stuff. But we're like in conversations about positioning, product positioning.
Hmm.
I've been at Centercode now for over 8 years, so
Hmm.
I have that curse of knowledge, but it's also it's a curse and blessing, right? Like, so things and you've tried,
Exactly.
and there's a lot to it, but
Hmm.
we bring in that fresh perspective of someone that's like a newer PM to help like
Hmm.
challenge some of that, and they bring up stuff, and it's like
Hmm.
if you still adopted that mindset of like I'm willing to continuously learn, and
Hmm.
maybe no one's pointed it out to you recently, like you made that decision a while ago, and you're like, that probably wasn't a great decision. Now that I'm looking back at it, it was probably okay for the time, but we should address that now, or we should fix that. So yeah,
Absolutely.
fresh perspective. Cool. Going to this next question. I know you've talked about interactions with customers.
Hmm.
I'd love to hear like what role do you think that customers play
Hmm.
in your launching products? Like what role are customers playing?
Yeah, that's a great one. So customers are vital. In my view, they're vital at every step of the launch process, every phase, even in the beginning with ideation, where you're kind of just putting things out there and kind of responding to as a PM, what you feel maybe needs to be introduced next. Customers play a crucial role in kind of validating or invalidating some of the hypotheses that you may have. So as you have a new idea, you don't always have to present it to customers directly and say, "This is what I'm thinking of doing. Would you use this?" In fact, that's probably not the right approach. But if you can find out a way to kind of indirectly test your customers to validate or invalidate some of the hypotheses that you have, then I think that's a really valuable thing to do because it can save you time on making investments in things where maybe you don't need to invest in. So even at the early phase, customers are critical. But as you continue to go along, say your hypotheses are kind of validated, and you kind of have a beta or you have a private preview that you're introducing, then customers are vital at that phase as well. They need to, you need feedback to test out that the things that you're doing actually fit their needs. You need to make sure that the things that you're introducing, it fits the way that they expect to use your product and the way they expect to interact with it. And then also continuing on all the way through your official launch. Customers should be involved at every single phase. If they're not, then you risk kind of putting out something that folks don't respond well to.
Yeah, I agree. I had this like it was a long time ago. I came up with like a weird analogy about like this. It was a snowball, but I don't think the snowball's right. So I'm going to throw that out real quick. When we have like, so we talk about products at different stages. So you have like your ideation and you have, okay, this is the fidelity that I have. I have ideas, I have concepts, I have features. And that opens up a list of questions. Here's questions that we can ask, or here's questions that I have about my product at this stage. And you come up with a hypothesis, and then you go test those things. And you say, okay, cool. And then you go get, say, some designs. And that opens up another set of questions. I got more questions I need to answer, and I go out and do that. And it's just as the product gets more higher fidelity, it gets more real. It becomes real and working. It unlocks questions, and I feel like that's sometimes we lose that gap of I asked that question already, but the problem is like if I asked it there and they said yes, I have this problem, I have this challenge, but now I built something. Do they still have that challenge, one?
Exactly.
And does this solve that challenge?
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like that can be rough sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I one other thing is I sometimes struggle with this, like customers play that role after launch even, right? Like they're there. So if you got feedback from somebody early on and they're adopting this product already, like how that influences the other customers around them, right? Like you can shape the way that people are using this feature, this new product, depending on which one you have coming out.
Yeah.
And it's like they are the guiding light. Like here's the person that's using it already, and they can like help shape other people and push them in that direction.
Yeah, and that can really strengthen the relationships that you have with customers. When you say to them, hey, we're thinking of introducing this new thing. We'd love for you to try it out. We'd love for you to develop it. Well, not develop it alongside with us, but in a way, really influence it. You have the ability to really give your input and influence the direction of a feature that we're going to be releasing. That can really strengthen the relationship between the customer and yourself and your company, because it shows them that you believe in their words, that you believe in their perspective, and that's just another way to really build really good trust with a customer themselves. You kind of develop your products alongside of them, and like you said, they can evangelize to other customers. Like when you release a product and you already have some use cases, you already have some customer testimonials to say, I try this out, I love it. Like that's a perfect thing to add to kind of your go to market, is if you're able to say, these customers are already using it. They've already given these rave reviews about it. And if you have customers involved early, then that's a really good way to kind of make sure that you get some good information to give out about how customers are using it, even as you launch it for the first time. So I absolutely agree.
It like greases the adoption wheels. Like,
That,
it's like we're aiming for adoption of this new feature set, and look, we already have somebody that's doing it, and they can
exactly.
go evangelize for us. Great stuff. All right, so I have now to wrap up the podcast. I've got a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw these questions out here. Let's see how they go. So first up, what's your favorite activity in product management?
Big picture thinking. I love big picture thinking. And
Yeah.
those brainstorming sessions that come with it.
Most challenging thing about product management?
Most challenging thing is balancing priorities from customers, from stakeholders, partners, leadership. So many different priorities. It's challenging to balance sometimes.
Yeah. I'll rephrase this one for you because I know this is maybe closer to your language. The most challenging thing to do in beta or those technical previews where we have going out early versions to customers?
Yeah. Yeah, the most challenging thing to do in those previews, the most challenging thing is we get so much feedback and prioritizing that feedback because we're kind of getting it from all angles. So we're trying to figure out, which feedback is feedback we should take and which feedback is feedback we should kind of defer to maybe a later phase or just not take at all. That's what I'd say is most challenging.
Easiest thing about beta or technical preview?
Yeah, easiest thing is watching customers try it out. It is really easy to get that feedback because everyone's going to have something to say, positive or negative. So the easiest thing is really just like receiving the feedback itself.
Okay. And this one's going to be interesting from your perspective because you get all the stakeholders around you. One misconception about beta or the technical preview?
Yeah, good one. A misconception is that the preview is just about finding bugs, because it's not. It's not just about identifying the deficiencies in something that we've already put out. The preview is actually about getting real feedback to make sure we're making something that works and that fits the needs and addresses what our users want. It's not just about, we have this idea, we're going to put it out. We need some folks to go ahead and find the bug so that we can release it and we can make it go GA. It's not about that. It's much more than that.
Cool. Love it. Last one about beta, and then we got some other ones. Favorite thing about beta testing your products? When you get your products in the beta, what's your favorite thing?
Yeah, my favorite thing is seeing customers use it. I love something going from an idea to an actual implementation. Like that's what I love about the job in general. Seeing something go from an idea to something that brings value to customers and something that customers love to use. That's my favorite thing. And beta is just that first phase where we actually get something tangible to them.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Tea, absolutely tea.
What's your favorite tea?
Chai tea. I love chai
Chai.
tea.
All right. Morning person or are you a night owl?
Uh, I, I am a night owl. I'm definitely more of a night owl.
Dude, I'm the complete opposite. I'm a morning person, but my wife
Morning
is a night
person.
owl. So
Nice.
like it's always that tension.
Good match.
How do you unwind?
How do I unwind? I love watching TV. I really do. That's my main way to unwind. Like after a day of work, just go on the TV and watch something good.
All right. The next question is perfect, right up that alley. What are you watching right now?
Okay. Abbott Elementary is my favorite show right now. That's the main thing I'm watching.
Okay. Now, best piece of advice you've been given, just like generically, like what's the best piece of advice you've been given?
Yeah, the best piece of advice. Um, You can learn anything. That's the best piece of advice that I've gotten. Any information that's out there, anything you want to do, you can do it. It's just a function of how much you're willing to learn to be able to do that. That really helped me with my confidence with things that I didn't know. That's what I'd say. You can learn anything.
All right, Jalen. That's all the questions I have. I
Awesome.
appreciate you coming on. I felt like I've connected with you much more because I felt a lot of that pain and learned a lot of the same lessons that you've learned.
Absolutely,
So I
absolutely. Well, yeah,
appreciate
it
that.
was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.